right. Hello, hello. We'll get started in a minute here. Just setting everything up. 1 second. All right. Hello, guys. Let's get this show on the road. Okay. So. Damn, a lot of this looks nice. It really does. It really does. It's been a crazy day. Indeed. Alright. So, let's get rid of this. By the way, guys, if you guys don't use this, I think you guys should, especially if you're trading futures. Very important information here. Longs compared to shorts on every different exchange. Funding rates, very important stuff. So let's take a look over here. Funding is, it's okay. It's cheap. It's pretty cheap compared to what we're seeing. Nothing negative yet, so we don't know for sure. Oh wow, a lot has happened since I started. Okay, yeah, I kind of played this little squiggly line out. This pretty much took inspiration from here. It's a very volatile day. I think I'll just give you guys a look. It's actually dying down, the volatility, so yeah, very interesting. It's the weekend, right, guys? So like Johnny said, I believe Monday is closed. Markets are closed, so it's gonna be it's gonna affect the volume. I mean, I expect Bitcoin to go up as long as the dollar is not jumping around like a psychopath. But yeah, a lot to look into. My goodness, all these remnants of my past ideas, just ridiculous. I forget to save my charts, so. All right, let's take a look. So, ooh. So what are you guys trading right now? Let me know. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I'm recording it. I'm recording it. This time I am. Lincoln RSR, Lincoln RSR. You're in DOT? Okay, let's take a look at it. I'm on it right now. Like, I took a trade over here. Complete 8 move right here, and I got so lucky to catch this. Doesn't happen often, but man, the second I saw a bit of weakness, I took profit right away. That's a gift, this, right? So, I mean, this could hold. This might be able to hold. It looks like a lot of demand was met here. You know, your RSI is coming down. As long as it makes a lower high here, starts to curl upwards, you might just have like another, pretty much what happened here, right? So, I don't know, guys. Dot when something's going rampant like this, you don't want to get in front of it. You just want to look to see where you can maybe get into. And if you guys think this is too much, there's no way this can continue. I mean, yeah, I can. Uh, you do not get in front of these trains when they start running. It's best to just look to see where you could potentially buy in. Like right here, I would have probably given it a shot. I mean, I was preparing to stream, so I would have relonged this area. I just look at the bounce already. This is probably like a nice little mini trade, nice little 2%. Feel nice, comfy. It's a comfy entry, and then you can kind of just yeah, it's kind of it might just be able to go like this, right? Who knows? Who knows? We'll come back to that later. Yeah, it feels like it could definitely do that. I mean, what Dot's doing right now is just reminds me of that market mania you saw in 2018, 2017. We'll see. Someone told me to take a look at RSR. Let's take a look. Hmm. I mean, on a 15-minute, I mean, this looks quite obvious, right? Kind of making a bottom here. Zoom out a bit. It's nice. It looks nice. It looks like it can continue, no problem. Yeah. I mean, there's volume here. I mean, we can catch a bit of a downside here. I guess it depends on Bitcoin, especially. Do I think Dot will follow Link? I mean, they're both in price discovery right now, so they can either stop whenever they feel to be too expensive, or they're in price discovery, right? So let me just take this off here. It's got me nervous. I mean, Ethereum, I covered this in the group discussion earlier. Paid attention to all these taps on resistance here. And then, fifth or sixth times the charm, guys. I mean, when it's showing this much momentum, trying to break to the upside, you had to expect that was coming. I mean, I called it like right here, I think. I'm not going to jump in that just because it goes against my my method of trading. But, like, you could have predicted that there was going to be a nice breakout here. And that's exactly what happened. If you want to get back in, this entire place should be a support area now. Like that shouldn't fall through if it's bullish, right? Volume's starting to pick up a bit, so it's like all the things you like to see. Oh yeah, and guys, take a look at this, right? The idea on this Ethereum long yesterday was right, because this was the area we bought in. And, when you look at the chart and how it played out, you're like, holy shit, the end of the world right here. And then you look and it was really just a bottom all along. So like very unlucky because the idea was right, and it's too bad that I kept too tight of a stop. But really, like, when you could see these things play out, like, don't panic when you pick out a trade. Don't panic, because as you could see, things just they balance out, right? When a market when a market reverts so much to the downside, it kind of when it's bullish, at least it absorbs like a sponge and then really springs. So that's why like yesterday I even said it, right? Like once we could have gotten that daily close. I mean, let me go back to Bitcoin just to give you guys the example I was talking about. This is right around here was where I was skeptical, because we had recovered and then we just started to reject off my EVMAs, which made me think, look, we're not done. And it's better to have just played it safe right here, because as you can see, we suffered the downside I was looking for. It's just the buying back right here was more than enough indication for me that we were going to be okay going into the next day. And right after like the day closed and we held this, I longed right away 36,000. I longed at 36k, which was right here. The daily had just closed, and this was all I needed as confirmation that I think we got our bottom, and kind of just drew out my little squiggly to see how it would go. I mean, kind of went the opposite, but still the same idea. But yeah, when a market reverts 10%, 20%, 30% in one day, there's going to be a dramatic upside, in the sense that, you have to expect that. You have to expect that. It's especially when a price holds for a very long time above a recent low, right? Like right then and there, you should know right away. But is this our bottom like for a long time? I don't know. I think we should continue upwards, kind of like we're gonna like chop like all the way up here. That's over exaggerated. I meant more like here, but until Tuesday opens up and then we see what happens to the dollar, and if that happens, this could easily go like that. So you play defense here, like around 40K. I wouldn't long. I would only long like maybe after we break all time high. If you're not in from like 36K zone, like yeah, if you're not in from the 36K zone, you shouldn't be looking for a long until maybe the all-time high, because then we're in price discovery again. But for now, we failed to reclaim our all-time high, so you got to assume we're still kind of downtrending, at least on this time frame. But I think it's gonna do something like that until Tuesday, and then it's just gonna drop like a rock. We'll be able to know more as the days go on. Ethereum, I think I just covered this, right? So yeah, you see another level of resistance here. Who knows what'll happen? But it looks like it wants to go to its all-time high. I don't see why it shouldn't. I think it can go to its all-time high, no doubt. Shorted dot. Okay, that's a lot. Band. You know what? I want to look at band because I was looking at it earlier. I mean, this looks poised for upside. Oh, no, it doesn't. Sorry. Jesus. I mean, this is a huge level here. You're going to have a battle up here. You know, there's a bull signal on my 4 hour, which is a nice indication. But would I long up here? I feel like you could suffer some downside. So you might still be able to get in. I'm not saying you wouldn't, but the move's kind of already been made, right? So you can continue to long from up here for sure. I mean, the way we reclaimed, this downswing here, it's kind of nice. But we have a resistance here that we need to respect. So take a look at other things. Is it a good idea to do 2x leverage market all in the moment? It's never a good idea to do something like this. It'll never be a good idea to just market all in anything. I'm gonna tell you now, like it'll never be a good idea. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy, guys. It's easy to make money in a bull market, but it's not that easy. It takes some effort. It takes some patience. You can't tell people, oh, should I market in now because it's safe. If this is what you're hoping for, it's not gonna happen, guys. You'll get lucky once, twice. In the long run, you're gonna get destroyed. It's common nature. I'll look at Adam. Yeah, sure. Oh, wow, nice. And this is the 4 hour chart. This is very nice, guys. I mean, if you want a long, yeah. Honestly, yeah. I'd probably long this, like right here. See the reaction to that? Maybe stops right under R2, just because it shouldn't, right? There's a lot of trading here, so like I want it to bounce here, kind of like this. You want it to kind of like do that thing. That's kind of like the typical markup procedure in alts. So I mean, like Adam, there's volume, guys. Like this is nuts. Like you want to be trading at these tables, so the setup should play in your favor. If it's bullish, you should have a setup in your favor. Like pay attention to the RSI, pay attention to the volume. As long as it's making a lower high and a higher high, I mean, you should take that trade as long as you're properly risk managed. I mean, take that very, very seriously. Adam looks nice. And the worst part is, dude, is I can't remember where I took a long. Maybe on the 15-minute I'll be able to tell you. Yeah, I think I took one right here. I let it pump all the way here, and I just let it stop me out. It's just super frustrating, but I mean, it looks nice. I would bid this, maybe. Depends on the reaction of the majors, but yeah, it looks nice. The volume is nice. That's what really looks nice. Is the fact that you have people playing here. Look at the increase in volume. Fucking beautiful. Very beautiful. It needs to keep up though. Please teach you some indicators. I mean, I am everybody has their own way of trading. So if you're looking for a specific style to trade, I'm not gonna be here to teach you how to do that. I'm here to pretty much teach you the way I do it. Pump it, loom dart. Like the pivot point standards. I mean, I think I've went over this like at least a million times now. It's a basic Fibonacci that resets at the end of every day, and it gives you pretty much the levels of the day. So you could respect these levels, and they'll most likely play in your favor. Like if you look, they're pretty much level to level, these things. Like even on a smaller time frame, they make even more sense. Like look how much they respect the levels. Respect my levels. Respect the levels. Yeah, you can make a nice trading career just trading Fibonacci's. Don't overcomplicate it. Use your RSI to know like when we could be at the maybe the end of a downswing. And you know, I only use the RSI when we're clearly in a bullish uptrend. Like when there's a lot of volatility and RSI, you can kind of just catch these swings and just go with the flow type of thing. So notice how they respect the levels. I mean, I use this to scalp. I don't overcomplicate it. When there's no demand zones that I could see off the top of my head, like even this is not even a demand zone, but I feel like it's so bullish I might just do fine. Like let me look for a demand zone here. Can't even find one. Ha, I knew it. We were talking in the mod chat about Filecoin. Look, I even drew this. That's crazy. Wow, okay, whatever. I knew it. BCH, like I can't find I can't find a good demand zone. Like no, most of them have already been hit. Oh, maybe we found one. Oh, is this link? Yes, it is. So another way I trade is through supply and demand. I found a small demand zone, so I might as well use it as an example. Right here is where I'd bid, you know, and you know, other people in the chat, if you've been in my stream before, you know how I trade, right? It's price moving up, faces a bit of selling, instantly moves back up out of its zone, you know, and this indicates that a big order or a big amount of orders were unfilled in this area, and you know, this will continue to go up until it reaches a supply that it can no longer sustain, and it must come back to fetch these orders. So it kind of, I'll look for a good example, but this is something I'd bid, right? On Link, I'd have to stay patient here. If it goes up, it goes up, but like look at the RSI, guys. Like how much more up do you think it could go without coming to test back down? The way it's coiling around, and it looks like it's gonna come back to touch here and bounce out of here. So my idea when I'm trying to trade supply demand is I want it to kind of like roll over and just kind of wick into here and then go up here. And then whatever happens, whether it goes up here or whether it goes down here again, I want to make money off this little bounce here, which is a nice 12-13% bounce. It could even go on to you know where. It's just you want that instant bounce from this unfilled order. So that's another way I trade. I'll look for more examples, but yeah, man, on Link, you would want to like try a bit over here on the 4 hour. Put your stop at below this box. So stop at the end of this box and your entry at the top, and whatever happens. You should wick into the zone and kind of find your way back up there. So that's another way I trade. I'll look for more examples just so you guys can see it. XLM looks kind of cheesy. XRP. What a piece of junk. BNB looks nice. Wow. Still no demand zones though. I can't find any fresh demand zones. These are all 4 hour charts. Oh, I might have found one. Yeah, kind of, but it's too wide. You see, this is way too wide. This is Kava, by the way, for people that don't know. I mean, technically this would be demand, but it's just so obnoxious and big that I wouldn't take a trade like this. Look at the risk. Like, you just can't. So, yes, but maybe not. I think we would have to look at like a daily chart, not even. Yeah, the daily chart tells a different story. You see, like, you have to be careful. Not everything is a demand zone. You gotta really look, and I'm trying to like show you clear examples of what is one and what isn't. But wow, there's really no crazy demand up here. Nothing at all. You see, like, this has already been filled, kind of, and now it's just gonna define. No. Oh, this looks kind of nice. Oh, is this Wi-Fi? Yeah, it is. I mean, this looks nice too, I'll be honest. Oh, we might actually have a demand zone here. Not even, still too wide. The selling's too wide. You can almost expect that, just a bit higher. There's a nice supply up here. It's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. You might even try down here for like CRV, like maybe like a nice demand zone's like right here. But I doubt you get that. Oh, there you go. Here's a good idea. See, price moves up instinctively, comes back down to test the demand. It's not enough. Instantly bounces out of the zone. To me, this is a demand block. It's unfilled. There weren't enough sellers. Too many buyers. Price moved up to the next batch of sellers. And now the sellers are too much, so they're going to come down here. They're going to come down here to test this unfilled order. It's probably going to bounce. And then whatever happens, happens. So, that's my trade strategy. There is no demand zone for ETH right now. I can't find one. So the reality is just there's nobody here buying a ridiculous amount of orders. There's nobody up here going crazy and FOMOing in because it's so close to its all-time high. Why would you want to ape in over here? You would probably just want to wait for maybe all-time high to get breached or to come back to test this demand block, which this is a demand block right here. I know it looks so low, right? But this is the last time an order was truly unfilled completely before moving away from price. So, the next really, really good demand zone on a daily chart for Ethereum is the 760 zone. It's pretty nuts. But that would be a demand block, which is right here. Price just couldn't handle the selling, moves immediately away from price. You didn't even have a chance. So you would want to see a comeback. I'll look at the 4 hour just to see. You see what I mean? Like, this was demand, but it was completely tested right here. Demand was tested already. And it seems that we filled his entire order. Now where do we stop? And above here, above all-time high, there's a shit ton of resistance. Because it's all-time high, people want to defend it. There's no real demand zones right now. It's just the price meets expectation over here. There's people are just trading sideways when you think about it. It's going up, but it's kind of sideways. It's not really a ridiculous trend here that you can take advantage of. Yeah, and like, honestly, guys, like my indicator here is it's still bearish, right? So like we have to be careful here because if we cannot break this recent high, it's McDonald's for everybody. It's straight, it could roll over and die very well. It could very well do that. I mean, you don't know, right? It's just I'm a bit more cautious with Ethereum. It hasn't breached its all-time high yet. I don't see anything crazy here. it's grinding up. Don't get me wrong, but I want to see what happens on Tuesday, and I want to close above this. I think it's much safer. I think it's much safer than taking a gamble here that can easily just roll over. Um, the time to buy Ethereum was yesterday. You know, at 10:26, which is what we had, and unfortunately got stopped out of. But you know, that's the game, right? We can't win every trade, and we can't get every idea right, and it's important to understand that, because there's no perfect trading strategy. There's no perfect trader at all. So, you know, you missed this move, but what would the next one be? You don't know. Above all time high, you can almost guarantee. You can almost guarantee that you 2x from that, right? Look what Bitcoin did. Went to 40K, 100% appreciated. If Ethereum breaks its all-time high, you can assume it's going to do the same, or at least appreciate an extra like 20-30%. Who knows? But even at that, why take the risk now? Tuesday, just markets open up again, and the dollar's been going nuts. The pivot points again. The pivot points are a Fibonacci setting that resets every day. So think of the Fibonacci of the high and low of the day, and that's my system. So you just want to play level to level, patiently. Level to level. There's not much more to it, guys. This is not some snake oil shit. It's literally, I trade. I take profit here. I buy here. I set a stop here. If it gets stopped out, I wait to see what happens here. I try to long here. I try to take profit here. You know, if we continue up, well, and then we come back to test and we kind of hold up right here, well, I long here and I take profit here. And I play it level by level. I'm not going to overcomplicate it on the 15-minute. Look how fast a 15-minute chart can turn against you. So you just take profit where you can, range to range. That's it. That's literally my strategy. I can't make it any. I can't elaborate any more on this. It's really, you know, buy here, sell here. It's that's it. Supply demand's a bit more tricky, but I can't really find on a respectable time frame something I'd like to trade. Oh. I mean, Tomo is creating a nice demand block here. This is an unfilled order, and it's kind of going. Oops. This is an unfilled order, and it's kind of just leaving the station. Oh my god, guys! I accidentally right-clicked. Sorry about that. I mean, this could probably go up like that, and then, you know, kind of just roll over, and then it's kind of what you want. That's really what you want. That's the advantage you want to take. You want to take advantage of that. So, I mean, that's creating a demand zone, but we don't know what the end of this day looks like. For all you know, this candle can turn red. For all we know, look at the RSI. You don't know, right? You have to wait for this day to play out. It's so volatile that you can't expect price to stay like this all day. So we'll see what happens. If Bitcoin decides, hey, I'm gonna drop $600 right now, I think half these things take a hit. So, you know, don't think you're never gonna get this order, because it's happened many times in this group where we thought a price left without us, and it comes back down to wick 20% in 40 minutes, and we have this fill from 30% below. So it happens a lot. Hey Jean, how to insert those indicators? I'm gonna do step by step. Okay, if someone could record this this one little section as like a clip, that'd be amazing. So I go to indicators. I go to pivot point standard. I click on this one. So double click, and you're gonna see a bunch of lines everywhere. You're gonna want to click on the lines, and you're gonna want to put these settings. I'll give you guys 5 seconds to see them. Okay, so that's my pivot points. You know, these are my EVMAs. They're coded to be a different one, so I can't show you which one it is. It's a different script, right? So it's not available on the public indicator list. I'm 26. Close enough, right? I already went over link, Jose, but I'll do it for you. No problem, bro. I'm looking for that demand zone, right? So, if you guys are not too trustworthy of the demand zone, let's just go back and before I continue here, Jose, give me 1 second. Um, if you guys don't trust the supply demand zone, here's a perfect example. We took this trade, right? I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to take my trades for whatever reason, but here you go. Here's a perfect one. It takes a long time to play out, but it played out, and that's all you need to know. Price moved away, came back to test demand, took off. Will it ever come back here? Like, this is the safest entry you could have gotten on this downswing. And you get now, even if price declines from here, look at the gain. 16%. 16%. Sometimes you guys go 20x, so, do your 15% times 20x, and there you go. Millionaire. So. No, I don't dollar cost average the whole demand zone. I enter at the top of the box and I put my stop at the bottom of the box. The reality is, if this is truly an unfilled order, it should just wick in and wick back out. The reason why this price moved away so quickly was because the demand was so overwhelming and the sellers were so little that it had to go to the next person willing to sell. And nobody was willing to buy up here, but the seller had an abundance, so we drove price back down to fill this guy. But once again, we're just going to keep tapping here until it overwhelms this guy's order. But this guy's order is clearly so big because it's on a daily scale that you could see it going to touch multiple supplies before it even thinks about coming back down. So this was a great example of how it took 3 days for this to play out, but it played out. And that's a nice 15% trade. It's really it could work a lot. And like I said, Jose, look, if you want to pay attention here, maybe not on the daily, but on a 4 hour, you're kind of seeing a demand zone here, and Link is quite bullish. So I think if it falls right back under all-time high, you're gonna have Chicken Littles everywhere saying the sky's falling, panic sell, panic sell, panic sell, and Gigabrain IQ buys here and sells back over here when everybody thinks the train is leaving the station again. Chicken Little is your friend. Just don't be Chicken Little. Just wait for him to say the sky's falling, and then buy. Number go up. Impatience. This is something I really wanted to cover this stream, and it's not going to do with looking at charts or anything, because I think charts are meant to entice you to gamble, especially when you're looking at 1 minute charts. Let's just observe a 1 minute chart, right, and how irrational it is. When I see this, all I see is a stock market floor, for example, just going buy, 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 sell, 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 buy, 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 sell, 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 buy, buy, buy. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Everybody's just irrational. They're playing candle by candle. They're all scared. This is nothing but people being unsure of themselves. That's what's going on here. No, it's leaving without me. No, it's selling, sell it all. No, it's leaving. When you look at these type of charts, you're gonna have a really bad time, guys. It's gonna make you feel like everything's always running away from you, when it couldn't be any further than the truth. Because I'm gonna zoom out right now. And what happened here? This is the move for the past 4 days. So why are you panic selling if you bought in over here? Why are you panic selling? Because you're watching the 1 minute chart? This is the worst thing you could do, is look at your open trades on the 1 minute chart. It's probably the worst thing you could do. Chances are there are a lot of things you don't understand about this that could give you the impression that, okay, we topped. It's better to just play your level, play a bigger time frame, and not to watch this shit. You're not someone with $50 million of liquidity. You're not. You don't need to get a Pico perfect entrance. You need to ride the waves where they are, not the 1 minute chart. You're gonna get chopped up. They've been, look, guys, it's been trading in this range all day. How are you supposed to make a profit when it's just, how many emotions are you going through between this line and this line? It's impossible to manage. We're all human beings. You cannot manage your emotions like this. It's impossible. You need to play a cleaner level. And a cleaner level would be a 4-hour chart where it tells a bigger picture. And what you see is that we've been running high for a while now. We're kind of looking exhausted. We might just come back to fill our last unfilled order and just continue the bull run. You know, you don't have to long here. Look how weak it's looking. And I say that with due respect, right? It breached its all-time high, but I'm saying it looks exhausted for a bit. Look at the RSI over here. It looks exhausted. Do you really want to long up here? The chances are it's probably going to come back down just to test some orders. Even if it's bullish, why would you put yourself up here? You know, sometimes you got to wait for good entries. Sometimes you really, really got to wait for good entries. 15-minute is much better. I mean, 15-minute, you could play level to level. I play 15 minutes when we're in a really, really bullish market and there's a lot of volatility and a lot of setups that have proven itself. You can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money playing level to level, but even on the 15-minute chart, and I'm victim of this myself. I'm impatient myself. I'll give you an example. There'll be many times where I want to long this white line here, and then something exactly like this happens to me. I'm watching the 15-minute candle and it's leaving without me, so I get impatient and I jump in, only for it to just come back and sink me in. It's, you know, I'm victim of this too. Where, like I said, we're all human beings. We're not perfect, but like, if you just play level to level with reasonable stops, maybe even be a bit greedier, a bit outside the lines, you're probably gonna get a swing back in your favor. It's rare it'll go so far out of its zone without at least testing once and coming back into the range. So 15 minutes is much better. 1 minute is irrational. It's people just market selling and market longing. It's not going to make you any money. It's not going to make you any money. Hey, Super Counter. Trading in spot is much easier. Futures is you're taking a bet on where price will go. Spot is something that you don't care what's happening to it. You know that right now the market is severely undervalued, or for whatever reason the market cap is so low that even something as simple as a $30 billion increase in the entire total market cap means more money for you, or more money for this asset or coin or utility or smart contract that you bought. You know, it's much different if you're dollar cost averaging into a spot position, because this is literally for a year from now, top of the bull market, wherever the hell you're planning on taking profit. It's a different approach. For futures, if you're gonna be taking 3 times your capital trades, you better be at a value point that makes sense for. I can't even explain. You cannot risk. You cannot risk taking a 20x long full stack right here. You know, like, this isn't like a historic support. This isn't a monthly support. This isn't a weekly support. You're in the middle of nowhere with a leverage long. You know, so spot is it's a different approach. It's not even trading sometimes. It's not even trading. I mean, futures is just because you want to nab a price movement over a certain amount of time. And this has to do with funding. This has to do with how long the contract is. This has to do with how much margin you're adding to the position. Futures it's a lot more complex, because you need to have a bit of an edge to be good at it. Anybody could trade futures, but to be good at it, it takes a bit of know-how, and it takes a bit of understanding that the price goes up and down, and you got to know when price will go up and when price will go down. And it sounds very stupid and very cliche, but it really is that. It's about getting these little movements in between. It's these little movements in between and not holding on to them. You know, spot is something I can add this entire way down, because I know in 6 months from now, what is this entire area? Probably a bump in the road. So for futures, everything matters. Every tick matters for people that are futures contracts. It's 2 different games. Spot is a lot more, you know, think ahead, not really concerned about my P&L or anything of the sort, right? It's actual capital I have. It's not increasing my losses. Chances are I bought it at a really good spot. So, you know, any tips on how to use the pivot point? I went over it. I went over it. I'm not going over it again. Take a look at Theta. Yeah, we'll take a look. The one thing I can say though is just not to get married to these things. Like a lot of these things have yet to prove themselves. I mean, I'm the bad guy when I talk about this shit, but it's the truth. You guys don't have to agree with me. You guys don't have to like it, but it's just the truth. Oh look, perfect demand zone, by the way. Before I continue on my rant, right here you could consider this a demand, but it's really wide. It's just, you know, if you wanted to be greedy and be like, okay, maybe in the middle of this, probably something I would have taken, maybe with like a really wide stop. But like, you see what I mean? Like, price is testing the supply and then just instantly moves out. That's how you know you have an unfilled order here, or there's just no sellers here anymore. So we met a bunch of sellers here. We bled until we couldn't take it anymore, and we fell into this guy's order again, which instantly brought the price back up because this order down here is just exceeding all sellers in this area. And that's why price is continuing to squeeze shorters and to put them under pressure. They might need to buy back in. So that's how a market works, right? Is just orders meeting demand and supply. And in between, a market will revert to the upside or downside and come back to a mean before it outbalances itself and goes back to another upside or downside. That's all a market is. It's trying to find unfilled orders, you know? So the bankers are buying here, you're buying here. The bankers are selling here, you're buying here, and retail is selling here, bankers are buying here. It really is the inversion of your brain that they've taught you to see that when price is going down, it's the end of the world, and when price is going up, you're missing out. It's inverted in your brain. It's a consumer way of buying assets, right? Or any type of utility tokens. It's really a consumerism way of looking at it and not a trader way of looking at it. So really, reality is we go over this a lot where it's like, oh, 30% off, let's buy it. No. Everybody wants to sell once it's 30% down. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'll give you an example. Let's go back to Bitcoin last week. What happened last week? I could have sworn I saw 14K charts, 18K charts, 20K charts, you name it. Chicken Littles all over Twitter. Chicken Littles everywhere. And rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. We were protected. We were very protected for this drop. Even the second one, I called it. I called it right here, guys. I told you at 40K. Let's take it easy today. It looks really shaky, and we're struggling right below this high. So I think everybody should play it safe. And we played it safe. And we played this move perfectly. As a group, we couldn't have done any better. You can't expect to make money on down days like this. You have to pick a bias, right? So because a lot of people go, oh, but why didn't we short? Or why didn't we 100x short the downswings? Because we're in a bull market. And we have a bull bias. If we start looking for bearish setups, we start contradicting what we're looking for. We cannot do this. The reality is we got to look at what we know. Now, what do I know? I know that we're in a long macro bull cycle uptrend. We are in a macro uptrend. There is no reason for me to look for shorts to play. No reason. We're not bearish yet. Short term, we might be bearish, but what does a short-term bearish cycle mean? It means we're looking for the best value to buy. We're looking to preserve our capital. We're not looking to short and sell for the next 3 years because it's not a bear market. So why are we looking for bear setups when we should just be looking for when the selling stops? You know, we could have shorted all this yesterday, and then we could have missed on all this. We wouldn't have known. Oh, we would have been like, oh, look, we're gonna fall down next leg. When reality is we're not in a bear market, so this shouldn't happen. We would have probably missed on this. It's all to say, it's like I wouldn't short this. I'm like, oh, look, a bear signal. That means we can buy a bottom soon. We're not bearish, so I'm not looking for tops to short. I'm looking for bottoms to buy. I'm looking for places to hedge, and I hedged right here and told myself, I even have an alert here. If we go above 40.2, I'm buying back in because I think we continue. But there was something about yesterday and the volatility that told me everything wrong about this structure, and you feel it. It's not bullish price action right now. It's kind of like an arranging price action, and it's not fun to trade. It could go up and down very violently, and we need volatility to die. There are a lot of things about yesterday that upset me, and it was mostly because people thought, because we didn't short it, that we missed an opportunity. It's no, we prevented people from losing their entire pension. And then you guys got mad when it bounced 30%. I mean, you could have lost 10% times 10 leverage, 20 leverage, and blew your whole account out. When we're in downtrends, we're not looking to snipe the bottom. We're looking to preserve our capital and then waiting for some clarity and then longing. We're not catching knives. There's no demand here. All we had to know was that there was a recent bottom here, and a higher low would indicate more upside. And that's what we did. We waited for the daily to close, and then we started taking longs again. But you guys, like right here, thought, oh, everything's bouncing. Why did I sell? It's like, because you guys would have panicked down here, and you would have sold down here, and then you would have been with nothing. When people ask why are we looking for shorts, I'm not looking for shorts because we're not bearish. It's that simple. Short-term bearish doesn't mean I'm gonna open up a macro short here. That doesn't make sense. It's not wise. We don't short scarce assets in an uptrend. I'm sorry. Whoever taught you that is a retard. And excuse my language. That's just not smart. They're going for a miracle. They're going for glory. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, but yeah, let's take a look at the downtrend that we witnessed here. It feels like it was weeks ago, but it really wasn't. I really want to put this away for a second. Where's my RSI indicator? Just want to put this away for a second. Let's take a look. So what happened on this very, very deadly day, I should say, because even me, don't get me wrong, we caught like 3 bounces, but they died out so quickly. It was so scary to play. It was so scary. I've never seen a sell-off this aggressive in a long time. Like, and I mean it, like, this was aggressive. This was like at least this must have been like 45 mil of constant selling. Like I don't think I've ever seen that before, where this all happened in it felt like March. It felt like March, and that's why I kind of sold at 32.6, because it felt so unrealistic the way we were just selling off, that I felt like I was part of a Ponzi scheme. And I just said, well, I'm not going to lose all my profits. So I took profit right at the bottom, and I'm a fool for doing so in hindsight. But you had to understand that, like, I held on and I held on and I held on, and I held on even over here. And then when it came back to retest, I got so scared because I thought we were just going to continue to cascade down, that I just ended up selling the next bounce. I ended up selling at 32.6, which was right here. I saw that we rejected my EVMA again, and I was like, oh boy. So, I took profit too soon, but it was a really nasty sell-off. So this, I don't blame people for losing money. It's not easy to protect your capital when something's selling off this quickly. Everybody kind of stays frozen, and prices continues to go down, and nobody knows when it's over. In comparison to this, it looks like a baby drop, right? Compared to this one. I mean, yeah, it's... I mean, I don't know if we're continuing here, man. I mean, I don't know if we continue here. And look, like, I remember I pointed it out on the chat that, like, we had like a fractal playing out here. If you kind of look, you can kind of see like kind of the same pattern of these two things, just kind of played out the way it was supposed to. But I don't know where we go from here. If I'm completely honest, I'm still bullish, obviously, but like, I'm taking caution at the 40.2k zone, even at the 39k zone now. I think that's new resistance, and I think we might sell off there again. Is MACD good indicator? Yeah. it's a lagging one, but it gives you direction. It gives you direction. If you're not too experienced and you just want to play the trend, as long as you have a trend, as long as it's there's volume, the MACD should work for you. But never ever take trades as if everything is a 100% sure thing, right? Always manage your risk. Always take a trade, treat it with respect, and don't gamble. Don't gamble on it. Be a sophisticated gambler when you're doing this, right? I mean that as much as I can. Can I see the entry on Michele's chart? Maybe. Me and him tend to look a lot at the same things as far as setups. He said 1235, correct? And guys, like don't take these drawings as like something serious. It's just, it's just I'm speculating, right? I did it over here too, and look, it works out. It works out. But as you can see, over time, price always continues to continue going up. So don't take these things as like one thing all. I'm just brainstorming with you guys, speculating. Yeah, 1235 makes sense, right? He wants this, and we went over this earlier. He wants this to act as support, so he wants this to go like this, and then probably like that. That's what I think Michele wants. I think that's what he's expecting. He wants this to act as a support, so I completely agree with him. I don't see why that shouldn't happen. Wow, Bitcoin just being an annoying little brat. It's see, total market cap, it's kind of like, total McDonald's pattern here going on. I don't like this when it just looks like McDonald's. That's like the sign of all tops, by the way. Like, just thought I'd mention that. It's just not a good time. Yeah, honestly, you could make more money trading price action in these triangles and trend lines and parabolas, and it's really a chart is just chaos on a screen. It's literally buying and selling, orders being filled, orders being unfilled, breaking off to the upside or downside whenever there's a massive imbalance, coming back to the middle until there's yet again another imbalance. So it's really all price action. It's not it's not like this. I can't explain it. It's just indicators are there to help you indicate a trade idea. They're not a crystal ball. They're never always going to be 100% right. They're there to help you make a decision, an educated decision. Do I trade candlesticks and not really? Not really. I trade trends. So when we're in an uptrend, I'm gonna play the uptrend. Oh, I'm gonna trade the trend until it ends. No, I'm not trying to rhyme over here, but the trend is your friend until it ends, and that's what you should play. Discipline and risk management, always most important. And I gotta say this: your mentality, guys, is it's critical. It's critical if you want to succeed in a space where you're gonna be wrong a lot. You can't take this personally. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading a comment. Sam Saden trades supply demand. Support resistance is more of a laggy. It's a place that everybody's looking at. It's not an order block where it can either fall right through or go right out. It's not like this historical support. It's really just an order block that just didn't meet its full expectation and didn't have a chance to fill. Support would stay on support for quite a bit of time, which wouldn't act like a demand zone. It would just act as a support zone. But yeah, what I wanted to go back before I start going to look at charts again and all this. I wanted to address some mentalities I'm seeing in the chat or in the group where you guys take losses personally and you take it too hard. You take it too hard, and you think the market's against you, and that someone front ran you. Like, it's a market. It doesn't give a fuck. The market doesn't give a shit. It's just gonna do what it's supposed to do, and that's go up and down, and it's not personal. The market has no idea who you are. So don't think someone's front running you. Don't think it's always you that this happens to. Just remember, every time you take profit, someone just lost money. you gotta look at it that way. You took someone else's money. Someone else is saying, why always me? How come this always happens to me? Yet they refuse to acknowledge the simple little errors that they make in their every fucking day trading regime. They long the top, they get instantly sold on, then tell them, oh, why is this always happening to me? Because you keep doing the same shit. You know, it's a market. It's going to continue to prey on your impulses. And if you cannot control your impulses, you're going to get slapped by people that know exactly how you're going to react. You know, they know retail's buying right here thinking, oh, this is it. This is the time it's going to bust out. You know, and the patient trader's waiting. And he goes, well, look, if we don't make it here, I'll try this again. We might go up this time. Yet, Panic Pete bought over here, sold down here because now he's panicking. So don't be a Panic Pete. You want to be a calm Carl. You know, Panic Peter buys up here, cannot handle the retracement, sells down here. Then he goes and complains in the chat saying it's always me, it's always me. I always get liquidated. I mean, if this is your impulse, people are going to take advantage of that every single day. It's going to be a free lunch for them every single day. You cannot control yourself. How do you expect to control an underwater position if you cannot control yourself? It really comes down to your mentality. How are you looking at this? How are you looking at this? As I could find a bias. Let me just start by saying this, right? If I was an inexperienced trader, this is me, okay? Tony Trade, they're gonna call me. Look, my name's Tony Trade, okay? I'm on 20 Adderalls. I just can't make up my mind. Look, I'm getting more and more desperate because nothing's showing a nice setup. So now I'm at the minute chart. You know, if I had the Pro Plus account, I'd be on the second chart right now. This is me right now, Tony Trade. I'm just looking for something, anything to make me feel alive. This is how some of you guys trade. Oh my God, nuke. Oh my God, nuke. Oh my God, nuke. Oh my God, why liquidate? Like, this is the reactions we get in the chat all the time. I can't take it anymore, guys. we give you all the things you need to know to prevent yourselves from acting like this. And we're not saying it's going to be easy to tell, but you can, if you were to take notes on how you guys react when price is 30% down and look back, you guys would say, I'm never going to do that again until it happens again. And then you guys are looking to sell at the bottom. You know, it really is a mentality. Like, would you guys take a trade here? You know, would you guys take a trade here? That's the thing, right? So the answer is there's no trend right now. So no, you're not going to take a trade. Because even if it does break down here, you're on technically a support. And even if you're on a support, it's been tested like 6 times. So no, I'm not going to take that, because if it was truly bullish, why the hell would it be bouncing back and forth between here and here? You know, it's common sense. It's common sense. If you know you shouldn't be taking the trade, it's because you know deep down. It's just there's an impulse that you guys are acting on, and I don't know why. It's I really wish I could explain it, but like, just remember this: when you're being a Panic Peter, you can't do this. You can't do this. This is a market. You're playing with big boys. You know, this is not. There's no filter in between you and a guy that's playing with 300 mil. If he wants to crack you, he will crack you. He knows that you have a 2% stop limit. He knows he could push price down and liquidate you. He knows what he can do. So don't think you're smart by longing into resistance when a guy is trying to sell. You know, like, it's just, you know, like, I would take this long here. You know, it's so many things. There's so many things. It's mentality. I think a lot of you guys struggle with mentality because you guys have the calls. You have the calls. You have the capital. You don't have the discipline. Someone posts a call that's $3 away. You guys all start saying, "Oh my God, it's never gonna fill," or "Oh my God, it ran out without us because it went up 3%." You know, it's, how many times have you guys said this where just because price didn't wick directly in on the first test down to the downside, you guys think, "Oh my God, is it inactive now? Is it active?" It's like, guys, let a trade play out. Let a trade play out. You're better off longing there than 3% higher. It's super simple. It's super simple. Trading is very, very simple. It's overcomplicated because of the thoughts you guys put in your head. It's all mentality, and it's really important. It's why I'm addressing it. Is a lot of people just do not have the right mentality. They're a bit immature. I think the word is immature. They're reacting to price as if it's a horse race. You know, if you treat it with respect, and you come into it risk managed and setup managed, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded. If you start acting like if you start acting like Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems, where you don't even know whose bet you made with 3 days ago and whose money you owe, your life's going to be a mess. Your trading portfolio is going to be a mess. Your setups are going to be a mess. You know, come into this with a clear mind. Ignore the noise. The general chat is bananas sometimes. It freaks me out. Even me, one of the most poised in the group when it comes to just waiting for things to outplay, and I consider myself quite impatient, but you guys are on another level. It's like you guys cannot wait 10 minutes for a trade, and if you don't, or if you think price is moving without, you're gonna mark it in. You're gonna mark it in, and then you're gonna instantly regret why you did that. How many times do you buy in? I'm gonna go over some examples, right? Because I was just reading the chat, but take a look at this, okay? We're going to take more examples of Panic Peter, okay? Let's find a nice clean chart, okay? So, the mystery tales of Panic Pete, okay? How many times did Panic Pete probably buy here, sell here? Bought here, and now he's underwater freaking out because he thought this time for sure it would break out and he'd be able to get 1 billion girlfriends, right? So he bought up here because he's like, oh, that's it, right? You know, look at this down thing. We're just gonna blast off. So he bought right here in anticipation. Then price instantly went back down. He's probably over leveraged. Said, oh man, I can't afford to lose anymore. I gotta sell here. He goes and he thinks, oh look, I'm right. Look how much lower it went. But the reality is, you just wasted so much capital on this. And what's gonna happen next time, right? Instead of waiting for something to play out and looking to set up a long over here, which would have made a lot of sense, right? Because it's showing stability, it's not falling. Instead, he sees this and then he goes, oh, that's it. For sure, it's this time. So he longs up here and now he's stuck over here. Once again, in a position that does not favor him. This is a classic Panic Pete tale. It's a classic parable. The lesson is, just because something pumps like that into resistance does not mean this is the time it's going to break. And even if it does break, do not take that chance. Your bet should have been here on the pivot line, not at the R1 that you're hoping breaks out. What about the money to be made right here? Who cares about this? Anyways, that's another rant. That's another rant. I'm not talking about Eli at all. I'm talking about the casual trader. I'm talking about the casual trader that makes these common mistakes, that thinks the market's going to move without them. There's nothing they can do. They have to mark it in now. They have to do it today. You know, it's crazy, guys. If you guys kept a trade journal, you would be able to record and document all the times you've ever felt like this. And when you decide, when you see a setup like this, you go look into your trade journal and you go, I did this last time and it costed me $700. I cannot repeat this mistake. However, if you're just an open filing cabinet with no documentation, you have no idea what you did before and the mistakes you made before. You're just going to keep doing your same impulses. Think of a boxer, right? Because I like sports. I like the idea of coaching. Think of a boxer. If a boxer does not have a proper coach telling him where his faults are, he will constantly keep sinking into his same mistakes and habits because it's all his mind has ever known. Nobody's teaching him how to get better. Nobody's teaching him where he went wrong. Nobody's telling him, hey, raise your left shoulder, or hey, give a jab. Instead, if he thinks, hey, look, I'm going to do it my way because this is how I do it, he's never going to be able to pick up on his mistakes. He's never going to be able to get better. He's never going to be able to make a profit. He's never going to be able to win a fight. Sorry to break my character here, but I'm not talking about Eli at all, guys. Eli's an amazing trader. I'm talking about the people that just, I see how they react. I see how they react, and I'm watching the chart with them, and I go, look, they bought here, they sold here, and that's why they're all messed up. That's why they're all messed up. They go rogue for 5 minutes and they lose everything. Guys, Eli backs up every single one of his charts. When he takes a trade, he's showing you an idea. He's showing you what he sees. He's not just saying, "Oh, look." It's funny, right? Because he does play a breakout strategy, but the idea is he sees that it's the fourth touch on a downtrend line. He's not taking it like, how do I explain this? Eli, for example, and I'm not talking about Eli, but Eli does this, right? Eli will take that resistance breakout on the 5th, 6th, 7th time of a triangle that he sees is clearly breaking out with volume, with a lower high. He has his indications to take that trade. He's not taking it because a big green candle showed up. He's taking it because everything checks out for him to take this trade. I've seen Eli do it. I see how he charts. It's completely different. He's taking it. It's educated. When he's taking something, it's educated. He's not being emotional about it. A lot of you guys are emotional about it. You take it personally when the market goes against you. It's like, oh, look at the whale. He's selling off on my $20 contracts. No, it's not that at all, guys. Like John said, it's a $1 trillion market cap now. Nobody's front running you. Nobody's selling off on you guys. It's, you know what I mean? Like, they'll only trap people that are trading $2 million. They mark it in at 2 mil. You can easily get trapped like that. If someone knows what they're doing, if an MM knows what he's doing, traps a guy, forces him to buy back in or sell back lower. Oh, the front run word. All right. Yeah, sorry to go on a bit of a rant, guys, but I just had to address this in the group. It was so ridiculous. You're still on ZC. Still on ZC? How's it doing, man? We took profit at 109. I figured it would be nice. I should have taken off half over here and let the rest ride, but I don't know. ZC is a total scamadoodle-doo, I'll be honest. I don't know what it, like, it's a privacy coin, right? It's, I don't know. I just saw a demand zone that wicked into it, and as you can see, this is how a trade works. You know, one of the best entries you can get in this entire area, the best entry you can get is what we took. So, yeah. What a great trade. What a great trade. And that's all you need, right? We took this entry here to 109. 13%. Can't ask for more, boys. Can't ask for more. 13% should make your week. It should make your week trading, I guess, quota. Some of you guys with your unrealistic expectations, it's I want to make $1 million. Okay, how much do you have? 100. Shouldn't you try making 1,000 first? Shouldn't you try making 2,000 after that, then 4,000, and 8,000, and 16,000, and you get what I'm trying to say? It's you know, it's extrapolation, but be realistic, right? 13%, more than what you need for a trade. 13%, 5%, 7%. Take what you can get. I know that guy Mindful has a 5% a day thing, and some people are doing tremendous with this. They put their greed aside and they realize 5% a day after 30 days compounded. Do you know what that does? Do you know what compounding interest does to a portfolio when you stick with it, when you provide yourself with consistency? You know what it is to train yourself to make 5% per day rather than make 30% one day, minus 17% the other day, plus 2% this day, minus 8% the next day? It's something that, if I'm trying to put this into words because it's all off the top of my head, but it really is that when you apply a consistent practice to something, it only continues to grow. The 5% a day is I'll be honest with you. Tell a banker I want to make 5% a day. They're gonna laugh in your face. For a market to grant you 5% a day is literally printing money. It's literally printing money. You cannot ask for more. By the end of 3 years, you guys are millionaires. 3% a day is fucking insane. Thank you, Pagani. It really is. It really is. 1% a day, even 1% a day, guys. Banks are like, yeah, take your $3 million, put in our bank, we'll give you like 0.3 interest. What? 0.3% interest. $3 million. Guys, I put that into Bitcoin. My money's up 60% by the end of the day. You know, it's. Think about that. Think of the opportunity you're being given here. Don't be greedy, blowing it on trying to catch a dot moonshot. Yeah, 1%. There you go. I know some one of them offered me like 0.7%. I literally did this, and I just walked out. You got to be kidding me. That's all you're gonna do for me. You know, it's banks are outdated. That's all I have to say. Banks are outdated. You're given an opportunity here. Don't blow it. Don't blow it, man. It's 0.1%, guys. But to who does this make sense to? You know, it's most of the world's stuck with 0.1%. Guys, back in the day, my grandfather put in his money into a bank account. He got like 8% back every year. You know, it's 5% a day is something. So when I talk to a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, the ones that turn me into one myself, I'm not even a maximalist where I believe Bitcoin should be used as a cash solution. It's not. Bitcoin is more of like a store of value, a way to easily transfer funds and currency that people can easily recognize. It doesn't have to have the best tech, which is why I don't agree with a lot of people's arguments that it's going to get replaced by something else. It's the OG of the space. It's the one everybody trusts, and it's the only one that doesn't have a face that has proven he still exists or is still alive. So there's a little bit of a value to that. It creates an intrinsic value where people, it's like gold, right? People can't explain why it's expensive other than the fact that it's scarce, or at least we believed it to be. Now you actually have a ledger that tells you there's really only this much that exists, and nobody can ever make more unless we come out with quantum computing, in which our entire world changes forever. We're not even type 1 civilization anymore. It's just, we're at a point now where I can't even explain like how this is. It's I'm losing my train of thought. Like BTC is not meant to be a currency. It's just meant to be kind of like a high interest savings account. That's the way I've been seeing it. You know, if you don't plan on turning it out, if you don't plan on taking out every 5 days over the next 10 years, the way it's performed in the past 10 years and the way it'll perform in the next 10, it's a high interest savings account. And the point I wanted to, the type 1, type 1, yeah, no, I don't think we're at type 1 yet, huh? Are we? We're like a type 0.5. What would quantum computing do? I'll wait to hear your answer from that. But the way the point I really wanted to bring up on Bitcoin is like you're kind of like buying real estate in a way, where it's the appreciation of real estate and the value it has in terms of how much it can grow and how much scarcity is surrounding it. It kind of reminds you of real estate. You're buying thousands and thousands of acres right now. That's really what it is. Think of it as our grandparents' version of real estate. When they had an opportunity to, when they had the opportunity to buy real estate at super cheap, think of Bitcoin as the same thing. Yes, Kalabula, I mentioned that many times. I literally mention that every stream, that price is just a mean that reverts to either side when there's an imbalance in the order books. I literally trade that style. Exactly. Quantum computing would absolutely destroy blockchain, and that's exactly why I mention it. The only thing that changes Bitcoin, that can only destroy Bitcoin, is quantum computing. Just because it changes everything we know. I can't explain it. Like by then, if there's, because people talk about quantum computing, but we don't know for real. Like we don't know for real. They could say it exists, but until I actually see it being used on a day-to-day basis, I don't care. Bitcoin specifically, and I want to go back to Bitcoin. I'm not too nice, Calabula. Specifically Bitcoin. For now, it's specifically Bitcoin. It's Ethereum's been proving itself. It's okay. We're not going to talk about quantum computing, guys. I said it once as an example. Now we're going to start talking about it all day. I really said it once as a thing. It's fine. But yeah, no. Mostly for Bitcoin. That's the only one I trust. That's the only one you could see billionaires really buying into. Whether they're silent or whether they're openly discussing it, you don't see them talking about Chainlink, and not yet. I don't want to say Chainlink, but more like perfect example, XRP. You don't see anything happening with that. I mean, banks can say they're buying into XRP, but since when do you trust banks? Why are you here if you trust banks? Like, use your head a bit, right? It's I don't scalp on stream because I'm busy talking to you guys. Bitcoin and Ethereum is much better than Bitcoin and XRP or Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. I'm much more happier with the idea of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just reading some comments here. Nope, I just use pivot point standard. They give me my levels for the day, and that's it. I really they're automatic. They just switch after every daily close, and I play by those levels, day-to-day levels. It's very rare I'll hold a scalp more than a day, or even more than an hour. It's very rare. How high do I see Bitcoin going? If we The leading indicator for me now is options, and I see options looking at 80K as a nice target. So I'm starting to think maybe 76, 80K. I don't know when though. By end of 2021, options are assuming this. So I think options are going to be a leading indicator in this rally. I think we have more experienced players here, and they're going to take a lot of advantage of calls. It's that's even more experience that you require, and you're gonna have big boys take good advantage of that. So my opinion on altcoins, and no, I don't think USD Tether is a scam. If it was truly an issue, guys, it would have been shut down by now. You're replicating the US dollar, or you're trying to act as the US dollar. If that was a real, if there was a real issue with that, the Federal Reserve would instantly shut them down. So no, I think that Tether FUD always likes to come around the corner when we're on a 30% correction, just so you guys can capitulate. I've never actually seen USD Tether FUD ruin the market. I've never actually seen it. I've never actually seen it, and I've been around for 3-4 years now. So this is a good question. How to manage coins for price discovery. The price is the price. There's nothing too expensive. There's nothing too cheap. It's you've got to play it level by level, mathematically. Usually Fibonacci's, a lot of people are looking at these. The price is what the price is. When Bitcoin breached 20K, that was a market long instantly. The price is no longer too expensive for anybody. It's in discovery. We need to find out what is too expensive. So now we know what is too expensive now. Kind of 42K is considered too expensive based on these levels that we're seeing now. 42K now is where people are going to get confidence to sell to us, because they think, oh look, we recently failed to reclaim the high, so now this must be the new expensive zone. And now it's a bull's mission to make a point and get above this. So you know, the price is what the price is, and we play it level by level until it no longer is a level. So I didn't know there was UFC on today, but I am 100% gonna watch it. I love watching the UFC. But it kind of died down. I'll be honest, guys, man. With COVID and everything, man, the lack of audience just makes it so boring. Like you just hear some Puerto Rican coach in the background just yelling at the top of his lungs. It takes you out of the moment. I like watching UFC when there's crowds and shouting. It's so weird, man. This shit's got to come to an end sooner or later. Oh wow, they actually have fans. Interesting. Finally, fuck. USDT would push the price, Joe, simply because USDT equals more money incoming into the market. So do you see how articles try to fuck with you like that? Yes, money's coming into the market. More tether needs to get printed. The result is the price gets pushed up. I mean, this should be a very very logical understanding or a very very rational way of thinking. It's just yeah, it makes a lot of sense that if more money's coming into the market, big serious players, and there's not enough reserves to fulfill these orders, you gotta make more tether. It's just, like, you see how they try to make it like a FUD thing, saying that it's like, oh, it's not backed by anything. It's like, yes, it's backed by people coming into the market. It's 1.3 trillion market cap now, or whatever it is now. It's just, don't buy into these articles. They always come out on the day of the drops, meant to cause a massive buyback. It always happens. 30% comes, this massive article comes out, we maybe hit 33%, and then we bounce 40%. This happens all the time, every bull run. Every bull run. I can recall every single crash from 2017 till now. It always feels the same way. Always feels the same way. They've been having legal troubles. I'm going back to I don't know how to say your username, Michuch. Michuch. I'm they've been having a legal lawsuit for like 4 years now. No, 2 years now, I believe, since 2018, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. The reality is that they're trying to say that money was made when there was no money coming in, and that couldn't be any further from the truth. And the reason why this is taking so long is because there's literally no proof of this. They really just want to kill crypto because it's the end of their financial system, right? So they're really just trying to nail people wherever they can, because this changes everything. I can't explain it, but if you understand monetary systems, this changes everything. It changes. I can't explain everything. It changes the entire economy. Anyways, don't let me go into this because it's very subjective. But yeah, Grayscale opened back up. They're going to resume again buying on Tuesday, and as long as Coinbase continues to lead and buy, the Bitcoin's going to continue to go up. Bitcoin's going to continue to go up as long as that supply keeps getting bought. As it stands, there's more Bitcoin being bought per day than there is Bitcoin being mined in a day. This is a very, very bad concoction. It's a supply crisis. There's not enough being minted out for new people. The demand is going to drive this super high. It's why it's not outrageous to think a $200,000 price target by 2023 is unlikely. It's very likely. The way our dollar is being printed, the way the supply is being eaten up by one entity. One entity can buy up all the daily supply? That's crazy. What happens when 20 conglomerates want to all buy at the same time? You guys got to look at it this way. What if 20 big egos just decide, I want to own all the Bitcoin? What if 10 different countries decide to start making reserves of Bitcoin? We're fucked. You will never be able to own a full Bitcoin again. It's going to be like that. We're already at the point where an average salary cannot afford a full Bitcoin. We're at that point, and where's it going to be here 5 years from now? So I think this is the death of banks, and it might not be in a year from now, it might not be in 5 years from now, but it is the death of banks. It is a system that is long overdue an innovation, and it's almost as if it was purposely done not to be innovative. That's the thing that we're starting to understand now. It's an industry where we're looking at space exploration, we're looking at planet preservation, we're looking at all this shit, but we can't figure out where $5 million went to? Come on, come on, come on. We have a ledger, we have a blockchain, we have an actual network that is confirmed from peer to peer, with the whole world able to see it, and that apparently is not a good solution. You tell me who's wrong, right? So something stinks. That's all I have to say. There's a reason why this is not being introduced as the new innovations. It threatens their very establishment. That's really what bankers are, right? They're just a bunch of degenerate gamblers in suits that use fancy acronyms and abbreviations to make it sound like they can only do what they do, right? They're really just a bunch of degens. I speak to bankers all the time, and it's 1-2 buckle my shoe with these guys. They have no idea what they're talking about. Actually, no idea what they're talking about. And I'm sorry I'm not moving the screen, guys. I'm reading the chat and kind of just talking with you guys right now, so I'm very sorry. We'll get back into it. So I guess I could do a Bitcoin analysis for you guys. I think someone asked me to do that. It's going to be pretty straightforward and simple. We're going to have to wait to see how levels play out. So if I go on to the 4-hour chart, I have an alert set up here just so if we get above this, I'm longing, just because I think we're not going to see lower. But this can always still kind of just, kind of grind out like this until Tuesday, and then the dollar rises, and then we kind of just... So I don't know. I don't know. You have to play it level by level. Because it can also just continue to grind up like this, and then just go like that, and that's all she wrote. So we have to play it level by level. It's very volatile. Excuse me. When the volatility dies down, very important, because when the volatility dies down and we see some stable buying, it's a long. And that's exciting, because if we get a long up here, we're not taking out till, I don't know, 80k minimum. I just called it right now on the stream. We're not gonna forget that. 80k minimum. It's not necessarily FUD. Yesterday, the DXY broke out of a falling wedge, and we saw a 10-15% drop across the board. So not necessarily. When the dollar decides to go up tremendously in price, it affects the price of Bitcoin. It really does. I saw it with my own eyes. RSR hitting $1? Yeah, actually, I do. I think the marketing on that is great. I think the project is great too. I think it's got a lot of things that are going to attract a lot of new investors, new retail players, and it's relatively cheap, right? So people feel more inclined to buy these things. It's not a percentage game for these guys, right? For most retail traders, it's, oh my God, 25 cents is so cheap. It could be worth $60,000 one day. They're not looking at a 5% move. They're looking at, oh my God, what if I buy 50,000 of these and they become $1 one day? Well, now I'm rich. That's how these people think. So. Joe, honestly, man, it's your opinion. I have my own indications for trading. We can go back and forth all day playing ping pong and tennis. I mean, it's your opinion, right? It's for me it was a great indication of why I told people to be careful at 40k. It's the only reason why, and no other reason before that. So. What indicators am I using? Pivot point standard. There's a clip on my channel. You'll be able to see my beautiful. Merci, Jean. Merci. Yeah, so that's my Bitcoin analysis. It's really simple, guys. Play the level to level. This, all eyes on Ethereum. I'll go over it again. We got to clear this high. We clear this high. We come back here. I'm longing there. It's that simple, right? We break all-time high. I'm longing. Oh, no, this is not all-time high. What the fuck am I saying? Sorry, guys. Sorry. You know what I mean. 1400. I have to actually look at it on Coinbase. 1 second. What is the all-time high? Like 1460, some shit like that. Oh my god, we're so close. It reminds you kind of like Bitcoin at 19K, right? If it went all the way down and then kind of just continued back up. I mean, once we break this all-time high, I'm longing. It's that simple. To 2800 minimum. The best altcoins to invest in today. I'm not an investment advisor, so I can't tell you. Sorry. I'm here to give you like kind of like educational ideas on how to find setups and shit. I'm not a financial advisor, so do not ask me what to do with your money. I don't know what to do. Last thing I need is the SEC kicking down my door because I told some dude to long ZEC with his entire birthday money. You know, like I can't give you this advice. So. Sorry, guys. When I trade, I'm just looking for volatility. Volatility and something to respect my my pivot lines. So on a 15-minute on a 15-minute time frame, you know, I'll take a trade based on the volume. I would try to long somewhere in here within confluence of my R1 and my EVMAs to maybe try and catch a move till here, take profit here, maybe 50%, and if it continues, close out fully there. Put my stop, break even, and just see what happens. But yeah, that would be my trade. Hopefully go for something like this. That's how I look for trades. Oh yeah, and one very important factor is, let's say it decides to go like this instead and leave me behind. Well, that's too bad. This trade doesn't work out anymore. I'm not gonna jump in and risk myself. You know, like you missed a trade, you missed a trade. So that's how I trade. I just respect the levels and I don't jump in even if it's a sure thing. It's bad practice and it's gonna mess with your head. You're gonna think it's gonna always be it's always gonna be a likely scenario. So no. I pretty much opened up all of these. I went to the Binance futures list and I pretty much added them all. And now I scroll through them, right? So like I just up down on my entire arrow shift. And I do this until I see something I like. You know? Oh my god, what did I just see? Oh? Oh? We're seeing this live up, guys. Sol is on the move. I repeat, Sol is on the move. So let's just sit here and see what happens to this candle, right? Because I want to see when you guys probably already jumped in by now, right? Is this why it's going crazy? You guys just jumped in? Let's see what oh, look, guys, someone bought in and now oh. Nah, this looks like it could break out really, really tough, guys. I'll be honest. Let's see what happens. Bull signals printed, but it needs to confirm, right? So there's 9 minutes for this candle to confirm. So only after 9 minutes, if that's still there, should you take a long. You know, like if we look right here, told you to long. So not always accurate, but is that up 40%? Is it? No. No, it's not. Calculate. See, like Man, I can't explain it, but like someone's buying here thinking, oh, this high right here is not going to sustain itself. And look, it might as well. It could very well just go up like this. But what are the chances that like this candle just pulls back like 3% and now you're fucked? Like, how many people like are marketing in right now and just realizing prices just suppressing them? Like now they're stuck like right here and now they're just hoping something goes their way. How many people just caught this? How many people just fell for this? Let's see. Or it could just continue to go up, man. Who knows? But the idea is not to take this chance. You don't want to. Swipe? What is that? SXP? SXP. I can't believe this thing's still under $1. I actually can't believe it. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's rounding out. It's rounding out. Ugh. I don't know, man. I don't know. This thing is just, it's a bizarro. It's, ugh. This is just a nightmare. I'm very sorry. I can't trade this. What is going on here? What is going on? I mean, it looks like it broke its downtrend. I mean, not using a trend line or anything. It kind of looks like it's ready to... Is Sol going down already? Let's see what happened. I actually just want to stay on this because I want you guys to see for yourselves the common mistake you guys do. Look at where, look guys, we came back like 3 minutes later and like look what happens now. But doesn't matter where the candle ends up. Just imagine if you took that trade at that circle I told you, and what you're thinking now 3 minutes into your trade. You're going, oh shit, how much lower can it go? I messed up. You get how like you just gave away money for like absolutely no reason whatsoever. You see how bad that is? Like people just FOMO in. They FOMO in and now they're stuck. Now they're stuck and they're gonna think, oh me, I have strong hands. I have strong hands until it gets like right here, which is where you should have longed for the bounce. Look at that. Look at this absolute death. This is a McDonald's candle. This is a McDonald's candle. This bull signal's gone, and this is why we wait for a candle to close. Do we understand? This is why we wait for candles to close. Look at this. You're seeing it happen in front of your very own eyes. You're seeing something die a miserable, painful death. Survival shady. There's no such thing as like manipulation. Like, I don't think so. I'm not gonna. That's conspiratorial. I just what I see is just a price, something that was really, really overpriced, and something that nobody really wants. That's really what it is, man. It's not that a market is manipulated. It's that your SXP stands for nothing. It does nothing. It does nothing. And that's what people think about it. That's why it's selling so long. If it was worth $6, it would be at $6. You know, it's don't get married to these things. I told a guy who was obsessed with XRP at 70 cents that this thing is a piece of junk. He insisted and he insisted and he insisted. He fought with me every day. Today I don't see him. I don't see him anymore. I actually don't know where he is anymore. You know, it's just sad tale of an XRP holder. It's just they always think fast money exists. No, it's not you. It's definitely not you, Raptor. Stuart. I remember Stuart Little. He laughed at the alt season, huh? I'm not talking about David Gockstein. We're not going to say any names, right? Oh, look, the bull signal came back. Let's see what happens. But you see, like, look, let's say this candle ends up being successful, right? It just starts and it goes like this and then it goes like that. You bought up here when you could have just bought right here. You know, you could have bought a safer look. But as you can see, it's too volatile, man. When I see this, I just don't enter, honestly. I'm just going to stay here until this candle closes another 3 more minutes, and I'll talk to you guys. Yeah, but the SEC case is what happened, Joe, so we can't look at it like that, right? Sorry, guys. Looking for my bottle cap. We can't look at what if cases and if this happened or if that happened. It really is what it is, right? SEC thinks it's recognizing itself as a security. You know, it's anything to do with securities. Like, I'll tell you right now, guys, if the SEC comes to the conclusion that XRP is a security, we're never discussing it in the group ever again. We're not trading it. We're not talking about it ever again. It's illegal. It's illegal. So we're not going to talk about XRP if it's literally about to be classified as a security. So that's a great question, Sumit. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This is a great question. So how do you place a stop? And this is a tricky one, right? Because you don't really know what's a good stop. I mean, what's a good what's a good place to admit you were wrong? Is pretty much what you're trying to tell yourself. Nobody wants to admit they're wrong, so they don't ever like to put a stop. But the reality is, you're in trading, and someone's gonna be right, someone's gonna be wrong. You want to keep it not catastrophic. I know this is easier said than done because a lot of people want to use money they don't have to accelerate their gains in their portfolio. I know, I get the hustle. I know what you guys are trying to do. But the reality is you got to leave yourself an appropriate stop for a trade to play out. So if that appropriate stop hurts you too much, you're using too much money. You're using too much money. The idea is to be right 4 out of 10 times and be profitable with a ratio like that, not be right 9 out of 10 times. You know, you want to be right 3-4 times out of 10. And oh man, I have bad hiccups today, man. It hurts. You know, you want a ratio. You want a ratio, for example, where let's say I take a trade like this, right? I take a trade on this white line at 36,912, right? I really want to maybe cash out somewhere like right here, right? So I want to cash out at this white line right here, which is like a 7, how much was it? I can't remember. 6% move. So, you know, this should act as support. So like this should technically go like this, right? But there's also a chance it could wick into the EVMAs and then just come back up. So really, I want to put my stop like somewhere like right here. So the idea is, if you're wrong, well, you're wrong. You should be wrong if it goes past this red line. So, you know, I'll leave myself 1.5% to be wrong, because you can't snipe the bottom. It's so unlikely that happens. You need to leave yourself room to, you know, to absorb some downside. So if I'm taking a trade, this would be my ratio, right? I'm gonna go for this line up here. I'm gonna set my stop right here, which is, you know, well below this little demand block and well below my EVMAs. If it goes through this, I'm not interested in sticking around. So the reality is it should curl up and go from here. If it comes to touch this, it shouldn't react. It shouldn't fetch lower. So you really want to place your stops in strategic positions. You know, I'm not gonna and I'll tell you why you don't want to make a stop like this, and I'll give you an example, right? So my name is I don't know, Gambling Gabriel. Let's just call myself Gambling Gabriel, right? And I want to take a long right on this line, same place that we were just talking about, 36,912. But my name's Gambling Gabriel this time, so I'm gonna use 30x right here, 30x. Okay. Full size, because, you know, degenerate. So I'm gonna use 30x because, you know, bro, if I just get this one trade, bro, I'm rich, bro. You know, and you know, trading's easy, so fuck you. So this is my trade idea. Now my margin for error, because, you know, I absolutely must use 30x and there's nothing else I could possibly fathom thinking about. I can only allow myself maybe like this much of a stop. So I'm going to take a long here, and if I go down 0.03%, well, you know, that's like 9%. It's like 9% you just lost. right? So I don't quote me on this. I'm off the top of my head. I should have used 10x instead, but I want it to be more degenerate. But like really, it's just the 10x. Let's say I'm using 10x, right? And I have to do a 0.03% stop loss. That's a 3% loss on your capital, and you barely moved price. 0.03 of a move killed you. 0.3, sorry. That burns, guys. That burns. You cannot create a profitable rate. You're going to get stopped out. You want to know what the guy's going to see? A seller is going to see that someone opened 50,000 contracts here, and then right underneath, they're selling 50,000 contracts. So they see your buy, they see your stop, they click sell, and then they knock you out, and then it continues back up. You can't play like this. You're not smart by doing this, guys. Market makers are just going to come, wick you out, and then continue the journey without you. Thanks for playing. Thanks for the free liquidity. You know, we'll see you up here when you decide you need to buy now. So look at it this way, right? They look at order books. These people are liquidity masters. They know what they're looking for. They know when they've been selling a bit too much. They know when they need to let go of the brakes. They know when they need to create a lower high. They know when they need to create a higher high. They know when to buy on. They know when to buy your sells and sell your buys. It really is. It's. They just know. They just know. They have the capital to know. You know, it's years and years and years and years of experience. Not even I have this. I wish one day, but it comes with a lot of understanding, right? The real solution to a lot of your guys' problem is, especially when it comes to stop loss, is that you guys have way too much leverage and you can't fathom a 1% down in price. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot because you're 30x leverage, so everything's accelerated by 30x. And your entries are probably not optimal. And your stops are probably too tight, so you get stopped. Happens all the time. Anyways, it's just reading the chat, guys. Sorry. Can we talk about position sizing? RSR taking a dump. Roro. Let's go see Soul. Oh, guys. You can't make it up, guys. There you go. There you go. Just take a look at that. Take a look at that. Everything we just spoke about. I just want you guys to look at this. Absolutely sickening. I agree with you. This is just... I love telling you guys about a story about Panic Peter and watching it come to life. Soul's an absolute piece of junk. That's all it is, guys. Something valuable doesn't do this, guys. Something that's valuable does not do this stuff. I'm telling you. It just doesn't. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's you guys get caught by someone closing a short, buying their sells. What's it called? This is a short closing. You guys buy up here. He resells on you. He buys back here. You sell here, he buys back his shorts here. Do you guys see how it works? So this guy shorted all the way down. He closed the short, to close the short means you have to buy back in. He buys them all back in. He decides to sell back up here. You decide to buy up here. And then he covers his next short right here. And you sell down here. Welcome to the game of whale wars. This is how you guys get slapped. And this is how a market works. I hope you guys see like how that works. You know, to enter a market, you need to buy in. To exit a market, you need to sell your position. To sell a market, you need to create a short. To cover it, you need to buy back in. So when someone sells and buys back in, you have price that goes up because he bought back his shorts. He bought it back at a lower price. So he sold back up here. You bought his liquidity up here, and you're gonna go all the way down here. It's either going to sell because of a stop loss or sell because you panicked, and he's going to buy back his shorts here. So you see how he's selling up here, buying here, you're buying up here, selling here. You see the psychology that they play on you guys? That's what they do to you. That's what they do to you. And yes, Bitcoin is the king of this entire market. If Bitcoin dumps, all your alts dump. It's I hope you guys understand this by now. I'm laughing because it happens every time, and it's you could learn from it. It's so valuable to just watch a candle play. It's so valuable to just see how candles play out. You know, take a note of what your emotions feel like when you see a candle like that, and then come back 30 minutes later. Tell me how it looks. I read order books. I mean, I don't read too much into them all the time, but I read order books. Order books are better in traditional markets. I'm not going to talk about traditional markets, but order books on crypto are a bit fugazi because people can pull walls without any penalties. They can place $50 million of buys and then last second just take them off. So order books are a bit ridiculous like that. It's not always accurate. It's kind of frustrating. I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about. Into I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, there are buy bots. Of course, there are buy bots. Of course. No, I'm glad you. I'm glad you learned a lot. Is that AMA? What do you mean, Jose? I'm not sure what you meant. I'm not sure what you mean by that. AMA. Maybe I'm drawing a blank here, but I'm not sure I get that. Ah, guys, see Ethereum? Look at that. I mean, like you see, like you might want to come in long, like maybe like scale in here. If you're bullish, this should be your support. Did it touch McKinley's zone? Well, it's coming to his entry, and you can see why he wanted this. This should bounce his support now. If we're bullish, this should go like this, or kind of like wick into here and then go like that. It should. It should. I'm not saying it will, but it should. I don't know. Governance tokens. You're asking me about fundamental stuff, and I'm just a trader. I just like to trade. I don't like to. Oh yeah, okay. Jose, these are they're this or EMVAs. Sorry, it's one of those. I just wrote in the chat. I try to stream on Saturday or Sunday. This week I'm gonna do both days, just so I want everybody to at least get a chance instead of missing out. I know some people are from other time zones, and I want to accommodate as many people as I can. Taste of butt. Great question. I struggled a lot with position sizing and risk management. I think that's what everybody struggles with. I struggled a lot with knowing what was a good ratio and what was risking too much and too little. And this could be entirely a preference, but it could be also systemic. So you could create a profitable ratio. So the ratio I like to go by is risks 2%, 7% win. So every winner should be 7% to 10% of a trade. Every loser should be no more than 2%. Over the course of 10 trades, I should have a profitable ratio if I have a 30%. No, I'm sorry. If I have a 40% win rate, I should I should outperform my losses. So if I were to lose 6 trades out of 10, I would be suffering 12% of loss, whereas if I won 4 of the trades out of 10, anywhere between 7 to 15%, this could range from 28% to 50%, for example. So for every 10 trades I take, I'm making 28 to 35%, and I'm only losing 12. So that's the ratio you want to have. It doesn't matter what amount of money you have. It's more just based on a percentage ratio, right? So what I like to do is try to aim for 7 to 15% on the winners and 2% on my stop losses, not more than that. And I want to keep a consistent ratio of 3 to 4 wins out of 10. And that should leave you to at least a 7 to 8 at least a 7 to 8%, even on the worst weeks, should leave you to at least a 7 to 8% week per week ratio. And that's beautiful for traders, especially with the capital that I use. So it's yeah. I'm not sure what you guys are watching in the chat as far as sports. I'm not too sure. When I'm creating a bias, I look at the big charts. I look at the big charts, weekly time frame, monthly time frame, and I know it's always fucked up. Goddamn. I have to fix my settings. I look towards big time frames like this when I just need overall market structure. Like, this is still bullish to me, right? When I get a bear signal printed on weekly, my bias has changed, and I'm going to be looking for short setups. You know, because the weekly time frame says we should be going down over the next 6 to 8 weeks, so you should expect a down trend. I look to this for my main direction, and then I start to play the 1 day. If I see great setups on the 1 day, I'll place passive bids based on my bias. If I can't find any, I'll go to my 4 hour, you know, and if we have a really, I like to trade 4 hour and 1 day the most, basic setups, but when we have a really hot market, like what we're seeing, as far as like, alts and shit like that, I like to play 15-minute just because the scalps are easy, the moves are fast, the profit's great. So, I just said 6 to 8 weeks, just like that. It's just to say, like, if a weekly trend prints, you can expect at least the next 6 to 8 weeks to sort of play out like that. So, and it's just to tell you over the long term of things that you should be expecting downtrends to occur, and it's more of an anomaly if it were to go the other way. It's a script, and no, it's not available. I spoke to him. I did not follow up on it though. But thanks for reminding me. That's a good idea. An indicator would be awesome. Definitely. No, it's good you brought that up. I did not follow up with him. Very sorry. The signal is my proprietary blend. I don't share that with anybody. You put an order limit at 4605. Yeah, let's go take a look. Let's see if I could see into the mind of the sniper. What's his entry? 4605. Damn. I mean, that's really algo. Are you sure it's algo? 4805. Okay, no, 4605. Yeah, I could see what he's doing. He wants to yeah, he wants to bid this support. I don't know if he'll get it though. I mean, he's probably expecting a big nuke. But yeah, he wants to bid this area here. So he's expecting kind of like something to fall off a cliff like that, just like that, and then maybe kind of wick in and then go out like that. And if you look at the chart, it actually looks like it makes a lot of sense. So who knows? Probably like the sign of like a big head and shoulders coming. Who knows? But yeah, this is a safe entry. I would take that any day. Any day if we got that. But like we would have to bounce out of this quick, right? Because my pivot means if we were to start falling under the pivot, then you can assume that the trend is changing. So this has to be like a really quick thing. Yeah, that's what I see. Maybe on the 5-minute chart it might tell a better story, but not too sure. Yeah, he's expecting like some sort of like massive downtrend. Maybe on the 4 hour there might be a supply block. I don't see. Yeah, it's kind of demand over here. If you think about it, it's kind of a demand block. He's playing the pivot line right here. He's front running the pivot line on the 4 hour. That's a setup, and it's not a bad trade. It's safer than longing. It's safer than longing this. That's for sure. This looks like it might just fall right through. So no, it's a nice trade. Makes sense. Yeah, it's a stink. That's exactly what he's doing. And you can make a killer. You can make a killing with just fetching stink bids. I promise you. I promise you. It's really nice. All right. The prelims are already on. My goodness. Okay. It's one of those. It might be in London or some shit like that, right? It's got to stretch, guys. This is crazy. What platform do I recommend? You can use Bybit for trading Bitcoin. You can use Coinbase for buying spot. I use ShakePay and Coinbase. You could also, if you're a U.S. citizen, I won't recommend Binance. I don't think that's a good idea. I would. You could try FTX. No, not even. FTX is not available to the USA. You could trade on Coinbase, Gemini, Bybit. Bybit's really good. I like using Bybit. Yeah, but VPN has not been reliable for Binance. They're actually like cracking down on people. They're like they're like such little hall monitors. It's so annoying. Binance is so annoying. Like yeah. Yeah, CZ Binance and his little this little group of goons just being like, "Oh my god, please show me your passport." Yeah, it's like they're not happy with Americans making money. Like the SEC, in case you haven't noticed, does not want you to make money. It's they actually don't want you to make money. So, but yeah, it's, we've been streaming for 2 hours now. All right, I'm gonna end this here, guys. I think we covered a lot. As always, guys. Yeah, as always, guys, if you guys have questions regarding the stream, I recorded it this time. Last one, I must have forgot. Big mistake, and it was a good one too. So I hope this one was good as well. I think it was a lot, like really all over the place. Tomorrow's going to be more structured. I want to go over a list of books, mindset, apps that you can download to help you out. But really, tomorrow I want to focus on let's get our headspace right. Let's think good. Let's think strategically. Let's not think with our emotions. Let's start turning into machines here. I covered a pivot like every 20 minutes, by the way, Flipster. Like literally every 20 minutes I covered the pivot points. Like tomorrow I'm probably going to do it around maybe the same time, maybe around 12. So an hour ago, so 12 Eastern time. I'm Canadian Eastern, so 12. So an hour and a half ago is when I'll start tomorrow, I think. All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in. I hope I answered some questions. I hope you guys learned something else. I kind of went on a couple of rants, just tried to make it a bit more entertaining for you guys and just be more raw and authentic. This shit hurts me too when I see people lose. I don't like when people don't listen to the instructions, and sometimes we gotta make jokes and we gotta make light of our mistakes so we learn not to do them again, right? So don't be a don't be a panic Peter. Don't be a nervous Nancy. You know. All right, guys. With that, I leave you. I leave you a great Saturday, and try not to lose anything. All right. Take care.